Hello everyone, I hope you can hear me. It would be great if we could have some comments. If you can let me know that this video is working, and we'll see how we get along. We're ready for our Silver Swans ballet class today. So if you could write any comments just to let me know that everything is running okay, that would be amazing. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's see. Hello, if you're watching, if you could please write a comment just to let me know that the video is working okay. And then we'll get started with our Silver Swans session just in a minute or two, and we've got a few people joining. Ah, yes, we've got some people watching. Great, it's all working. Whew, can breathe a sigh of relief now. So just before we get started, I'll just explain a little bit about Silver Swans. Silver Swans is an initiative of the Royal Academy of Dance, and they are ballet classes specifically designed for the over 55s. The ambassador of Silver Swans is Angela Rippon, and I've been a Silver Swans licensee now since the initial pilot scheme, which was back in 2017. I think it was, and I teach the classes in Bury. I have over 100 Silver Swans attending classes every week, aged 55 to 86. Just before we do get started on this session, I'll just run you through a few things. If you can just check that there's no obstacles around you, and also that there's that your flooring's suitable. For footwear, if you can just make sure that you've got suitable footwear. If you do have a pair of ballet shoes, then that's fantastic, you can have that on. But if not, bare feet. Just be careful of the flooring that you're on, that it's not going to be slippy. That's the main problem with floorings, is just making sure that it's not slippy or anything. And just make sure, like I said, there's no pets or anything to trip over. Also, just a reminder as well that because this is a live session, don't forget though that you can take a break at any point if you need to. You know, don't push beyond your capabilities. You know what's safe for you to do. And of course, if you need to adapt anything, then you can do. Make sure you got some water with you, because we will take a little break in the middle just to drink some water, just to keep hydrated, and you can have a drink whenever you feel as though you need to as well. And I think we could get started now, actually. I think that's everything. Yes, right, okay, so we're going to start off with 2 warm-ups to begin with. I always start off with 2 warm-ups. The first one is just going to be just following along, just something nice and straightforward and easy to follow along with, just gets us moving. And then the second warm-up will be just a little bit more for our feet. So make sure you've got a nice big space, because we're going to travel around in a circle. Just use the space however best you can. Okay, so I'll just follow back. So if you're just going to follow along for this first warm-up. Okay, so we're just going to walk around the room. Off you go, walking around. So we're just walking around. So just relaxing your shoulders as you're walking. Okay, now we're going to take our hands slowly up and bring them down. If you've not got enough space to walk in a circle, then you can just walk on the spot. You can just walk on the spot if you don't have space. Okay, now everybody back into the middle and hands in front, because we're going to bend and stretch. And stretch, and bend, 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 and stretch. Now we're going to sway to the side. So a nice big bend, and bend and stretch, and bend and stretch. Nice big bends, bend and stretch. Feet together, you're just going to breathe in and breathing out. Okay, so that's our first warm-up done now. Now we're going to do our second warm-up. So for this, you're going to need a ballet bar or a replacement for a ballet bar, in which case this is where dining room chairs come in absolutely perfect. You want it to be about the height of your waist, ideally. That's the best height for a ballet bar. So what we've got, I'm just going to turn around my chair slightly so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. We're going to start off just by talking about our posture to begin with, because posture is a huge part of a ballet class. I know a lot of my Silver Swans, they do pass comment that they can, they come out of the ballet class and they can just feel this change in the posture. And, that's probably one of the most recognisable features about a ballet dancer, is the way how they hold themselves. So, we're just going to start off. I want you to just stand with your feet together. And I want you to imagine, this is one of my favourite pieces of imagery, this, for helping with posture. And it's to think of a helium balloon. So I want you to imagine that your head is a helium balloon that is trying to float upwards, but your feet are the weight. So we've very much got this two-way stretch that's going on. So your feet are staying very grounded, but your head is trying to lift and float upwards. Okay, so that gives you a really nice lifted feeling, and we want to keep that all the time. Now, for holding on to the ballet bar, we'll talk a little bit about the correct distance we should hold our ballet bar, because it's surprising actually how much, if you're holding onto your ballet bar incorrectly, how much it can affect your posture as well. So we say that we take our distance from our ballet bar from our arms. So if they're straight, then you're too far away. If you're too close, then they're bent. We want to be somewhere in the middle so that they're a nice soft curve. And that's how we know that we're the correct distance away from our bar. So we're still thinking about that lifting up, but our feet are still remaining very grounded. Okay, so we'll make a start on our second warm-up now. So this is a little bit more for our feet. And we're going to start off by going to our demi point. So if I just show you, just mind my foot out the way, then you can see. So a demi point, demi means half, so all of the ballet terms are in French. So that's the great thing about ballet. Not only are you learning ballet, but you're also learning French at the same time. So demi means half, and it's demi point, so it's half of a pointed foot. So demi point, so you've got a nice crease going across your ballet shoes. Your toes are really relaxed, we're not scrunching them. So you just get a nice crease across your shoes, and then we'll go to a point. We don't want to be leaning on that pointed foot. Then back to your demi point and down. So I'll just do that now, holding on to the bar. So you're going to go to your demi point, to a point, demi point and down, same with the other leg, to a point, demi point and down, same again, to a point, demi point and down, same again, to a point, demi point and down. Now we're going to point our foot to the front, and then I want you to flex your foot and really push your heel away from you. And point, and close, and point, and flex, and point, and close. Are we still thinking about lifting upwards? And flex, and point, and close, and point, and flex, and point, and close. And that's just going to be our second warm-up for today. So I'm going to my demi point to a point, going to do it 4 times, and then I'm going to point and flex my feet. Okay, so we'll give that a go with music. So just take a moment. Make sure your hands are nice and relaxed on the bar. The distance apart of your hands should be about as wide apart as your shoulders. This way you can keep your shoulders nice and relaxed. Okay, so hands nice and relaxed. Make sure you're the correct distance away from your bar, and we'll start off with our second foot warm-up. Okay, so we're going to go demi point to a point, and demi point and down. Demi point to a point, demi point and down, same again, to a point, demi point and down, demi point to a point. Now we're going to point and flex, and a point, and flex, and point, and close, and point, and flex, and point, and close, and a point, and flex, and point, and close, and point, and flex, and point, and close. Okay, good, well done. So that is our second warm-up done. We're now going to go into our bar exercises. So our first exercise that we always do at the bar as a ballet dancer is our plies. Plie, that's another French term there. Plie means to bend, and what we're going to be doing today is a demi plie. So there's that word demi again, because it's half of a plie. So half a bend we're taking today, because there is a step called a full plie, but we tend not to do those as Silver Swans. So feet in first position we need to learn first of all. So there's 5 positions of the feet in ballet. I'm just going to turn around to face the camera so that you can see me. So we start with our feet together. Now turnout for a dancer comes from the hips. So it's the whole of your leg that's rotating outwards. So keeping your heels together, you're going to turn your toes away from each other and keep your heels in contact with each other. Now the distance apart from your feet is set by you. It's whatever's comfortable for you. We're looking for about, I'd say about a right angle really for your feet. You don't want to be overturning them out, and like I said, it's the whole of your leg that's turned out, not just your feet. So that's our first position. Keeping the same amount of turnout in your legs, if you just put a space between your feet now, and that's second position. But I want you to just look down and check your feet for 1 minute. Are your feet matching, or do you have one foot which is slightly more turned out than the other? We want our feet to be absolutely identical in second position, so big toes are opposite each other and heels are opposite each other. So you've just learnt there the 2 of the 5 positions of the feet in ballet. So we've got first position and we have second position. So for a plie, I'll just demonstrate it 1 minute just facing the camera so that you can see me. So a plie, as I was saying, is a bend. So we're going to start off with our feet in first position. Now as a dancer, we think of 3 points of contact on the floor. We've got our big toe in contact with the floor, we've got our little toe in contact with the floor, and we have our heel in contact with the floor. And it's really important that we keep that all the time there when we're doing a plie, especially your heel. Heels have a tendency to want to pop up when we do a demi plie. So all we're going to do is we're going to bend our knees and stretch. So keeping your heels in contact with the floor. You can see we're making a diamond shape with our legs. And stretch. Just another thing to think about. There's always lots of things to think about in ballet. So many things going on. Is when you take your plie, we want to think of the tracking of our legs to make it safe for our knees. So as you plie, you want your knees to be going over your middle toes. What we don't want is that our knees are coming too far in. If you find that you are struggling to get your knees over your middle toes, sometimes it's because your feet are too turned out in first position. So in which case, bring your feet in a little bit and really concentrate on tracking your knee over your middle toe so you're not overstretching your knees. So we'll start on our plie exercise now. So I want you to face your ballet bar. I'll just turn around a little bit more for this. So we're facing the bar. So we still think about our posture. And we've got our hands in front of our shoulders, one hand in front of each shoulder, and we're lifting up. And the 3 points of contact with our feet as well. And we're going to take a demi plie and stretch. So still keeping your heels in contact with the floor. Demi plie and stretch. And a third demi plie and stretch. Now you're going to point your foot to the side. And we're going to move to our second position. So just take a moment to check that your feet are matching. You also want to have your weight in the middle of both feet. You don't want to be leaning on one leg more than the other. So we've got our weight in the middle. We'll do our demi plies in second now. Demi plie. So we're still keeping our heels in contact with the floor. Bending knees over your middle toes. And stretch. And bending. And stretching. We'll point the foot that we've just taken out to come back to first position, and we'll repeat round the exercise again on the other leg. So we'll take a demi plie and stretch, knees going over your middle toes, demi plie and stretch, demi plie and stretch. And now your other leg is going to go to second position, same in second, demi plie and stretch, demi plie and stretch, demi plie and stretch, and then we'll close into first position. Okay, so this is our plies exercise. Remember, plie meaning to bend. We're thinking about our posture. keeping our heels in contact with the floor, and also we want to keep a nice straight back. Every time we do a plie, we want to keep our back in a nice straight line. Okay, let's give that a go with some music. So standing nice and tall. Okay, so lifting up and demi plie. 1. And stretch. Demi plie. And stretch, knees over your middle toes. Now we'll go to second position. And lowering down in second, demi plie. And stretch, demi plie again. And stretch, demi plie. And stretch, now closing back into first position. And plie. And stretch, we're still lifting, plie. And stretch, relax your shoulders, long necks. And now going to second position, take a moment, check your feet are matching. Plie. And stretch, plie. Knees over your middle toes. And plie. And stretch, closing into first position. And we'll finish off there. Okay, good. Right, I'm just going to move my chair back for 1 minute for this next exercise. So we're going to move on now to a battement tendu, which is pretty much always our second exercise we take at the bar. Battement tendu, it sounds like it's going to be a really difficult exercise, but it's actually quite straightforward. It's just pointing and closing your feet. So for this exercise, just because of the limited space and because we are working with a chair, I am going to do it with one hand on the chair today. So, when you're holding onto a chair with one hand, or your ballet bar, you want to make sure you've got that hand in front of you, because if it starts to wander behind you, then that's going to start affecting your posture. So keep it in front so you can keep your shoulders nice and square, your hips nice and square, and then that way everything can be nice and relaxed. Putting your other hand onto your waist. And we're going to do our battement tendu. So we're going to use our outside leg first. So what I mean by your outside leg is your leg furthest away from the ballet bar. So we're going to point our foot to the front and closing in. And that is a battement tendu. It's just a point and a close. So we're pointing and closing. And then we're going to use our inside leg, so the leg closest towards the bar. Point and close, and we're going to use the other leg again, point and close, and same again, point and close. So that's 4 battement tendus devant we're using. So battement tendu, pointing and closing, devant is to the front. So legs stay nice and straight in a battement tendu, and what happens is it's actually your feet moving which really initiates the movement. So I'll just turn to face the side so that you can see what I mean. So as I'm pointing my foot, my legs are staying absolutely still. This way I can keep my hips still. My foot is sliding along the floor. It goes through the demi point, and then it grows into a beautiful pointed foot, and then it goes back to the demi point and into first. And then try it with your legs. So it's going through and closing in. So it's not your knees bending to get your leg out, it's sliding out in a battement tendu. So feet in first. So we'll take a battement tendu. It's quite, it moves, it's not a slow battement tendu this. So using your outside leg first. So we're going to go point and a close and a point and a close and a point and close and point and close. Then we'll take a demi plie, just like we practiced before, and stretch. Another demi plie and a stretch. Then we'll start again. And a point and close and point and a close and a point and close and point and close. Demi plie. Keep your heels in contact with the floor. And another demi plie and stretch. When you're pointing your foot in front of you, try and point your foot in front of your hip and your shoulder. Don't let it overcross. And don't let it go out too open to the side. It points right in front of you and close and a point and close. So that's our battement tendu exercise. 4 points to the front. Keep swapping your legs And then a demi plie, and everything that we talked about for the plie is what applies to this demi plie here. And bend and stretch. Okay, let's give it a go with music. So hand in front of you on the bar, lifting up nice and tall. So we're going to use our outside foot. Sorry about this. The music keeps skipping. Here we go. Working. Off we go. And a point. And a close. And point. And close. And a point. And close. And a point. And close. Demi plie. And stretch. Same again. Demi plie. And stretch. Pointing to the front. Point. And a close. Keep lifting. And a point. And close. And point. And a close. Demi plie. And stretch, demi plie, and stretch. Okay, so that's your battement tendus done now. We're going to move on now to a step called a rond de jambe à terre, which again sounds a very, very complicated exercise. Rond means round, your jambe is your leg, à terre is on the ground. So it's the rounding of your leg on the ground. Now these can be done en dehors, which is going outwards, and en dedans, which is coming inwards. Today we're just going to do them en dehors, which is going outwards. So for this exercise, I'm going to turn back round to face the bar. I'm just going to move my chair around a little bit again. And it is quite important for this exercise that you just check your distance away from the bar, and you'll see why in a minute, especially when you're using dining room chairs. Okay. So, as you've got your feet in first position, we're lifting up nice and tall. Your hands are in front of each shoulder. We're going to point our foot to the front, just like we did in the battement tendu exercise. So, pointing your foot to the front. This time, instead of it closing in, it's going to circle round to the side, to whereabouts we were when we were in second position. So there's actually a very precise place for your leg in second. It's that your big toes are opposite each other. It's going to keep circling round to the back, so it's behind your hip and your shoulder, and then we close it into first position. And that is a rond de jambe en dehors. It's a bit like we're making the capital letter D shape on the floor. So we're going to the front, to the side, to the back, closing into first. Imagine you've got a pen in the tip of your big toe. We'll go again. To the front, and we're drawing that letter D shape. To the side, to the back, into first. Then we'll go with the other leg. So we're keeping our legs nice and straight all the time. To the back. It's really good for getting your hip moving, this exercise. To the front, to the side, to the back, into first. As dancers, we use rond de jambe a lot for improving our turnout and for our hip rotation. So it is really good for just getting everything moving in your hip sockets. Okay, so rond de jambe à terre, en dehors. We're making that nice letter D shape on the floor, keeping your legs nice and pulled up, and we're just facing our bar for this exercise. Okay, let's go with some music. So we're going to point our foot to the front, to the side, to the back, and into first. To the front, to the side, to the back, and into first. Other leg to the front, to the side, to the back, keeping your leg nice and pulled up. Same again, to the front, to the side, to the back, and into first. Okay, good. Right. Okay, last exercise at the bar we're going to do now is called our grand battements. So there's the word battement that we came across before for our battement tendu. It is very closely related to our battement tendu. I'm going to put my chair back to how I was before, so that you can see me nice and clearly. And I'm also going back to having one hand on the bar again. So we're keeping that hand in front of you, and your other hand is on your waist. Very similar to a battement tendu as I was saying. So we're going to start off with our outside foot, so your leg furthest away from your ballet bar. We're going to point it to the front. But this time for your grand battement, it's going to go into a little lift of your leg. So we're going to keep our leg straight as we just lift it up, lower it back to a point, and close it back into first. So you can see how it is quite similar to the battement tendu that we did before. Now, this isn't a true grand battement, what we're doing today. This is like a preparation for a grand battement that we always start off with, because today's class is suitable for absolute beginners, so we're breaking everything down. So this is how we always teach a grand battement. We start off with this set, which is called a divided grand battement. So feet in first, I'll go through it again. So keeping your legs nice and pulled up, we're keeping everything nice and square. Remember that your leg is just moving from your hip socket, so no other part of your body should be affected by your leg being lifted. It's just the movement from your hip. So we're pointing, and little lift, and point, and close. We'll go with the other leg, point, and a lift, and point, and close, point, and lift, and point, and close. So we've done that 3 times. We've done our grand battements. Now we're just going to go into a rise. So feet in first position. You're going to lift your heels up off the floor, keep your legs nice and pulled up, and back down again. Now the height of that rise is going to be set by you. For dancers, we normally go all the way up to our demi point, but that does take quite a lot of control and strength in your ankle joints. So what you can do is just take it as a small rise, just a small lift of your heels. That is still a very strengthening movement. So I always advise my silver swans to start off with a nice small rise, and gradually as their ankles start to strengthen over time, you can start taking that demi point higher and higher, and hopefully as your mobility range starts to improve too. Just something to mention about for a rise is we want to think about the alignment of our ankle. It's very important that we don't do what's called a sickled foot. Sickled foot can really weaken your ankle joints, so because it's going to overstretch all your ligaments. So as you rise up, we want to make sure that it's in a nice straight line all the way down through your knee and through your foot and through your ankle. It's all the way down in a nice straight line. I'll show you what a sickled foot looks like. So it's where it's going outwards onto the ankle, and that's going to overstretch all the outside of your foot here. So keeping everything tracking in a nice straight line and back down again. Okay, so I'll just recap over that exercise again. So we've got 3 grand battements and then a rise. So we're going to go point and a lift and a point and close. Inside leg and a lift and point and close. Other leg and a lift and point and close. Then we'll rise up and lowering down. Then we'll repeat it again, but this time use your inside leg first. Point and lift and point and close. Other leg and a lift and point and close. Same again, and lift and a point and close. Little rise and lowering down. Okay, let's give it a go with music now. So this is your grand battement exercise. Still thinking of lifting up, think of that helium balloon, and keeping everything nice and square. Okay, so outside leg first, and we're going to point and a lift, point and a close, and a point and a lift, and point and close, and a point and lift, and point and close. Little rise and lower it down. Now inside leg first, and point and lift, and point and close, and a point and lift. One last one. And close, rising up and down. Okay, good. So that concludes our bar work now. So we are going to go into the centre. So if you want to just mind your ballet bars out of the way somewhere safe, just tuck them to one side. And if you want to go and get yourself a quick drink of water as well, I'll just mind my chair out of the way now. I'll just tuck it over here. Okay, so just while we're just having a quick drink of water, if you could, maybe if you could comment on this post, please, whereabouts you're joining in this Silver Swans session today. It'd be great to hear whereabouts everybody's joining in from. And let's have a look. Thank you everyone for your very kind comments. So yeah, just write on whereabouts you are, whereabouts you're joining in this Silver Swans session today. I'll just have a quick drink of my water. Okay, so now we're going to get started back in the centre. I hope that you're all ready to go. We're going to start off with an exercise called a port de bras. So port de is carriage of, and your bras is your arms. So port de bras is a moment in a class where a dancer can really just work on refining their technique. You can see this a lot in a ballet class actually, that as the class progresses, it's essentially like one giant warm-up for a dancer. You start off with your bar work, we start off with our plies, we're just getting everything gently moving. And then gradually as the session progresses, it starts to increase in its intensity, really, particularly at like a professional dancer standard, and then they'll finish off with the big leaps. That's a nice thing about Silver Swans, actually. I'll just take a moment to explain about that because it is specifically designed for the over 55s, it is it's been safely adapted for older learners, so we don't do things like pirouettes and big leaps across the room. But what we do spend a lot of time doing is we do some repertoire. We do simplified repertoire from the ballets, which actually today we are going to do a tiny little bit based around Swan Lake, which I really hope you'll enjoy. But we'll just do our port de bras first of all, just so we can work on our arm positions. So this is the moment in the class where the dancer can work on their arms and their artistry. So I'll just move back 1 minute. So make sure you've got lots of clear space around you and you're not going to knock anything off. So we're going to start off with our feet in first position. So with your hands in a position called bra bar. So bra is your arms, bar is low, so it's arms low. It's a nice oval shape we want to make with our arms. We say that your hands are as wide apart as your head and your elbows are pointing straight out to the sides. So we don't want our elbows pointing behind us, they're right round to the sides. So we're still thinking of all those things to do with the posture. We're still thinking about our helium balloon lifting upwards. We've still got our feet in first, that rotation has come from our hips. Now, from here, I'll just teach you, if you keep your arms in exactly the same shape, you're going to lift them up so that it's opposite your waist. Now we call that first position. So your hands are still as wide apart as your head. We've still got that long neck and we've got an oval shape with our arms. So hands in bra bar, and then we can lift them up to first position. Teach you another position now, which is called Demi Bra. So there's that bra again with your arms, demi half arms, this one. So you're going to push your hands out, and to be honest, it's a little bit like you're holding a tray. It's wider than your shoulders. If you had a light shining out of your hands, out of the palm of your hand, it will be shining upwards and making a triangle shape just in front of you. So it's very much in front of you. We don't want our hands going behind us because again that's going to affect your posture. Hands in front, then we can keep everything nice and square with your shoulders relaxed. So we just need to be aware of the bra bar, first position and demi bra for this opening of this exercise. So we're going to take our hand, so we'll start off with one hand first of all, taking it to first and out to demi bra. And I want you to really imagine that you're on a stage. And imagine you have all the audience watching you. Okay, so you're going to acknowledge the people in the audience over on this side. Take your hand back down to bra bar. And then same with the other side. First to demi bra and back down again. Then we're going to take our arms to first position. Now we're going to open them all the way out to what we call second position and back down to bra bar. So you'll notice there we've just gone through a first position and a second position. Like there is with the feet, there are also 5 positions of the arms as well, plus a few little extras like Demi Bra, Demi Second and all sorts of things, but we won't go into that today. But the 5 positions of the arms, we've just come across some of them there. So we've got arms in first position and arms in second position. In second position, it's a nice rounded shape. You want to keep your hands in front of you. We don't want our hands going behind us again, because again, that's going to affect your posture. So, and elbows are lifted. Imagine you've got a little cloud just underneath your elbow, so we don't want it drooping downwards. So shoulder stays relaxed and your elbows supported. So hands in bra bar. Well, we're going to go. Take your hand out to Demi Bra. So look at the people over there and down. Looking at the people in the audience over there and down. Then we'll take our arms to first, out to second, and slowly back down to bra bar. We'll repeat it again. Demi Bra, look at the audience over there and down. Demi Bra, taking in your audience over there and down. Then we're going to go to first, but this time your hands are going to continue all the way up to make 5th position here. So it's that same shape of arms that we had in bra bar, the same distance between your hands, all the way up. It just keeps going, shoulders down, and then we'll open to second and down to bra bar. Let's just repeat that again. So opening your hand out and down to your audience and down. Arms to first, opposite your waist, out to second, and back down to bra bar. Demi Bra, and in. The other hand out and in, all the way up to the top, all the way up to 5th position, shoulders down, opening out and down. So we're really just touching the surface here for port de bras. There is so much that you can talk about for port de bras, but this is just really the basic introduction to a port de bras. Some port de bras almost end up looking like little mini dances in themselves, but like I said, this is just the very, very basics in this session today. So feet in first position, we'll start off with our hands in bra bar. We're still thinking of lifting all the time, and shoulders down. Okay, let's go with some music. So taking your hand to Demi Bra, look at your audience and down. Other hand to your audience and down. Arms to first, out to second, and slowly down. So again to Demi Bra and down. Other hand, Demi Bra and down. Arms to first, all the way up to the top, up to 5th, opening out. Let's go again from the beginning. Right hand to Demi Bra and in. Other hand and in, all the way to first position. Out to second, keeping your weight forwards. Keep your arms in front of you. Demi Bra. The other side, Demi Bra, and in, all the way up to the top. Keep your hands in front of you, don't let them go behind you, and down to bra bar. Okay, good, right. So, as I was saying just before, that repertoire is a huge part of Silver Swans. So I know within my Silver Swans, we choose a different ballet every term, and we always kind of do little bits of themed work around it. And so this was actually from when we were working on Swan Lake, and it's a port de bras that is themed around the music of Swan Lake. So it will be great to know actually if we have any men joining in the session today. Because ladies, I want you to imagine that you have on the beautiful white tutus of the swans in Swan Lake, and the gorgeous feathered headdresses as well. And if we do have any men, you have an option. You could be part of Matthew Bourne's Swan Lake, you could be a male swan, but what I am going to do as well is I'm going to give you an option, a different port de bras, and you're going to be Rothbart, who is the fantastic villain of Swan Lake. He is the evil character who has cast the spell on the ladies which has turned them into swans. But ladies as well, I am giving you that option. I'm just warning you now, it is so much fun to do. So if you do want to have a go at being Rothbart as well, it's brilliant. So, well, I'll start off, I'll teach the ladies version first of all, which is just your regular swans. So like I said, imagine that you've got your white tutu on. Imagine you've got your beautiful white headdress on. So a lot of the movements of the arms are meant to reflect the wings of a swan. Ballet dancers, when they're preparing for Swan Lake, spend absolutely hours perfecting their arms to make sure that every little movement is just absolutely embodying what a swan would be. So we'll start off with our feet in first position, and we'll have just our hands relaxed by our side. I want you to take your swan wing all the way up, keeping your shoulder down, and you're going to bring it in front of you. And then your other hand is going to lift up, just like a wing, and we're going to bring it down in front to have our wrists crossed. Now you see this position a lot in Swan Lake. From here, we're going to give it a little push, so we're going to go elbow, wrist, fingertip. So let's turn to face the side to show you that. So it's your elbow, wrist, fingertip. From there, we're going to lift our hands up and opening out. Now we'll repeat it again, but on the other side, taking your hand up and down, and the other hand up and down, little push, and all the way up and opening out. Now we're just going to go into a section where we're testing our wings. So we're going to take our hand out to the side and we're going to take a push. So it's elbow, wrist, fingertip, elbow, wrist, fingertip, and in. To the other side, out. And push, and push, and close. To the other side, out. And push, and closing in. To the other side, out. And push and closing in, and then we're going to finish off with our big ending feeler. So you're taking flight, hands lifting all the way up, and we can give it our arms a nice push at the very end. So ladies, that's your version. Men, we're going to do now the version where we are Rothbart. So I want you to imagine that you have on your big black cape and you're feeling very much, very powerful. So often in Swan Lake, you'll see that there's like a rock formation at the back, and that's where you'll find Rothbart, and he's overseeing all of the swans on the lake. So I want you to imagine that you are summoning the swans to come and dance for you. So we'll start off with our feet in first. We're going to, with a very powerful lift of your hand, you're going to push your hand down, lift your palm up. It should feel as though you're lifting something heavy up. So you're lifting it up. Imagine that you can feel the power coming, and you're lifting your other hand up. From there, we're going to give it a little push, and then we're going to bring our hands down. We'll go on the other side, so we're going to lift our hand up, and lift the other hand up, and we're going to push, and down. Now I want you to imagine that all the swans are coming on to dance now. So like we did at our port de bras before, we're going to take our hand out to first, and I want you to acknowledge all the swans who are dancing over there. And then same with your other hand, acknowledge all the swans that are over there. And it's a really strong push outwards with your hand. And then with the other hand. And then at the end, just like we did for the ladies, but it's going to be much stronger because we're Rothbart, we're going to lift our hands all the way up. And at the very end, we'll give it a nice push there. So we really are embodying, we're really channeling our inner Rothbart there. So very strong arms, lifting up. So men, if you want to just take a little break for a moment, I'll come back to doing your Rothbart version in a moment. Ladies will do yours. Do your swan version first of all. Men, if you do want to have a go at this, you can, always imagine that you are in Matthew Bourne's Swan Lake. So I'll just quickly recap over it. So one hand, the other hand, little push, and opening back out again. Same again, one hand, the other hand, little push, opening back out again. Then we're going to the side, out to the side, 2 little pushes, out to the side, same again, and then we finish off with our nice beginning. You should feel as though you're about to fly, and nice soft wings. Okay, let's give it a go now for our beautiful swans. Okay, so we're going to take our hand up and down and up and down and push and opening back up again and up and down, the other hand and push, opening back out again. Now we're going to test our wings, so going to the side, out and push, closing back in to the other side, out, elbow wrist fingertip, and push, and coming back in again to the other side, out, and push, closing in to the other side, and closing in now, ready for your big ending. Shoulders down and push. Isn't that music just amazing? Just every time you hear the music of Swan Lake, it just instantly transports you into this other world. Okay, let's go into Rothbart mode now. So we'll just recap over that. So we're going to lift our hand up, and we're going to lift our other hand up, and we're going to lift them up again, and back down again. Then we'll repeat that again. And up, and lift, and down. Then we're bringing on the swans to dance for us. And the other side, and the other side, and the other side. And then we'll finish off as we bring all the swans onto the stage for the ending. Okay, let's go with music now. So feet in first position. Okay, so we're going to lift our hand up and the other hand up and both together and bringing them back down again. Let's go again, lifting your hand up and lift the other hand up, palms up to the ceiling and both together and bring them down. Now you're going to bring your swans onto the stage. So bring them out, watching them, and down the other hand. Bring the swans onto the stage, and down, and the other hand. Bringing them up, and down, and the other hand, and down. Now ready for your big ending, bringing your hands up. Okay, good. We're going to now finish off with our curtsy and bow and cool down. So I'll just go through just a little cool down just to finish off. So we're just going to start off with our feet together. Just thinking about your breathing. We're going to breathe in and breathing out, lowering your hands back down again. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. So we've done that 3 times. Then we're going to put our feet into first position. Now this is where we're going to go into our curtsy and bow. So ladies, you'll take a curtsy, men, you will take a bow. I'll explain the curtsy first of all. So we'll put our hands into demi second, it's a bit like an umbrella. And your foot is going to go at the back onto the ball of your foot. If I just turn around and face the back so you can see my foot. So it's going onto the ball of my foot. There. Now if you are struggling to balance in that position, you can just pop your foot flat at the back. But I'll demonstrate it with a bent foot, because then what we're going to do is we're going to bend our knees just like we did in our plie, and stretch, feet into first, the other foot at the back, and we'll bend our knees and stretch. But like I said, if you want to have that foot flat at the back just to give you a little bit more stability, then that's fine. Men, you'll just stand with your hands by your side, you'll take a bow, and stretch, and bow, and back up again. Then we'll just take a walk around the room, just really slowing down our breathing. So we've just got 3 breaths to start off with. Then we go into our curtsy and bow. And then we just go into a walk around the room. So it's really just following along for this exercise. So feet together. Just think about your posture just for a moment. Okay, let's go with some music. So we're going to breathe in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Feet into first. Curtsy or bow. And to first. Curtsy or bow. Okay, just walking around the room. Just keep thinking about your breathing. Just take a walk. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. And out. Okay, very good. I think you can give yourselves a round of applause there. Well done. So, I really hope that you've enjoyed your Silver Swans class today. If you can keep commenting, maybe you could let me know which ballets you've been seeing. Have you ever been able to go and see Swan Lake? And also, as well, with whereabouts you are joining in these sessions. It's great to see whereabouts you've all been joining from today. If you want to find out more about Silver Swans, because Silver Swans classes are available all across the world, if you head to Google and type in Become a Silver Swan, you'll go to the Royal Academy of Dance's website, and on there is a map of all your officially licensed Silver Swans teachers. I've also put a link in the text with this video, which should also take you directly to find your nearest Silver Swans licensee. Okay, so I really hope that you've enjoyed the session today, and I hope that you keep enjoying all the events part of the Virtual Village Hall with Royal Voluntary Service. Okay, bye!